Welcome back everyone to A Man Talks FPL SC. Today we're going through the GAMEWEEK 5 Team Selection. What is going on everyone? Hope you had a great game week. For today's video we're going to go through my game week 4 score as well as my transfer thoughts coming into game week 5 and what my team is looking like for the upcoming game week. If you do enjoy the video, as always, really appreciate a thumbs up. Do please consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. A cheeky plug in that 74% of you have watched my most recent video but you didn't subscribe, so what are you doing? If you enjoy the video, really appreciate a subscription to the channel. And a final plug for a lot of the stats we're going to go through in this video are all coming from Fantasy Football Hub. If you want a discount for their tools and their access to their stats, there's a discount link in the description below. But let's get into the Game Week 5 team selection. So starting off at looking at our goalkeepers and defenders. So Sanchez with a 6-pointer here. He only made the one save and was actually 16th in the league for amongst all goalkeepers with 11 baseline BPS, which kind of highlights what we talked about in preseason. He doesn't get a lot of high ceiling scores. He's capped at around a 6-pointer, only really gets a 2 as well if Brighton do concede a goal. But happy enough with a clean sheet return there from him. Trent Alexander-Arnold just continues to be the absolute gold standard, I think, amongst all FPL defenders. A 12-point return here, 5 chances created, and also 9 crosses in this game week, just highlighting his underlying attacking potential. He also tops all players in the Premier League now with 20 chances created, so someone I think is probably looking like a must-hold in my team for the foreseeable future, pending any injuries, because he's just looking really good, as well as the Liverpool team in general. So Alexander-Arnold, fantastic return from him this game week. Soufal did also come in with a clean sheet. West Ham was only expected to concede 0.7 expected goals, so a tight match between themselves and Southampton. He didn't create any big chances, so there wasn't any real attacking potential here in this matchup, but happy enough with the clean sheet. And Luke Shaw, obviously Manchester United did concede that 1 goal to Newcastle, but he did get an assist to Cristiano Ronaldo up front. He whipped in 11 crosses, which is actually an amazing stat. That was the highest for this game week, followed by Trent with 9. So again, probably highlights a bit of a change in the style of play of United, in that they're going to be looking to bring more crosses into the box for Cristiano Ronaldo, who we know is one of the best headers in the game, potentially is the best header of a football ever, although I'm a little bit biased to my boy Timmy Cahill. But again, really indicates that change in play potentially for Manchester United, but again highlights that Shaw has got good attacking potential also moving forward. Taking a look at midfield, so Mo Salah came in with a return of 1 goal against Leeds United. He had a 0.98 XG, so he basically delivered on what was expected, but he also had 2 big chances, so he could have been a little bit more clinical potentially and actually could have got some more attacking returns, but happy enough obviously with the Salah 8 points. He just continues to kick along, probably the ghost of FPL. Ismail Sarr, who I did actually bring in for this game week, he had a good matchup against Wolves, although Wolves' defense has actually been quite strong, and again, Watford had very, very low XG of 0.4. They are actually the bottom in the league in terms of team XG, which is not a great sign. The reason I went for Sarr though was mainly the fixtures that are coming up, and I was also playing along with that idea of talisman theory, where if Watford do get any kind of attacking return, I would expect Sarr to be amongst it, which hopefully also then helps in him getting bonus points. He did create 1 single chance, which was a nice cross in, but it wasn't able to be finished off, so I'm hoping that all those factors that I've just thought of, he can get some points in the future. Rafinha was also one of my transfers in this game week for Bruno Fernandes. It was a tough matchup against Liverpool, so to be honest, I wasn't really expecting too much, and this was more of a move that was going to set me up for the next few game weeks. He did look lively. He created 3 chances, but only a 0.1 expected goal involvement, again just highlighting how dominant Liverpool were in this matchup. Ben Rama, again, not a big return here, only the 3-pointer. Concerningly, he only played the 62 minutes, and with West Ham now going into European football during this midweek, it gives us a good opportunity to see how they're going to actually use Ben Rama and the overall West Ham team in terms of rotation. Because Ben Rama has obviously been heavily transferred in the past few game weeks, but I think now with the introduction of European football and potentially some tougher fixtures for West Ham in the long term, we're just not quite sure yet if they're worth holding on to. So definitely is going to be a good scouting opportunity this week in midweek to see how the West Ham players perform. Created 2 chances, had 0.1 expected goal involvement, but as I mentioned previously with Soufal, the game was quite tight between themselves and Southampton. And finally we have Smith Rowe in midfield. Unfortunately, he only played the 28 minutes. He was on the bench. I did expect that because he was obviously battling illness throughout the week. He was made very late on in the week available for selection. But I decided I wanted to play him anyway because it was against Norwich, and I thought even if he comes on, plays around 30-35 minutes, he might have some opportunities, and that actually did happen. He had a good one-on-one opportunity He could have actually had an assist to Pepe as well. You can see that he had 0.3 expected goal involvement in just the 28 minutes. That's even more than Benrahma and Rafinha had, so 2 chances created as well. He did definitely look lively. I am concerned because he did drop in price to 5.3, but he's got a matchup against Burnley this game week, so I'm not quite ready yet to trade him out. But he definitely is someone on my watch list as someone to take out of the team soon enough, because if he keeps making sub appearances, we can't have that as a starting midfielder in the team. And finally, in the forward line, the main deliverer of the entire team, Cristiano Ronaldo, who he did bring in for a -4 hit, but I knew I wanted to put the captain's armband on him, and I had a good feeling that he was going to start, which he thankfully did. He had 2 big chances, he also recorded 6 shots, which was the highest amongst all forwards in the game, again showing that he is going to be a poacher, he's going to be in the box, he's looking to take shots, which is fantastic for us. If you haven't got him in already, it is a bit of a tougher question whether you want to decide to bring him in, because they have got West Ham and then Aston Villa, which is not a bad matchup, but then from game week 7 and 8, the run for Manchester United does become a little bit tougher. So I think the real opportunity to get him was in game week 4. But if say you are on a wild card in game week 5, for example, I think getting in Ronaldo is a great placeholder as well, because you can move him on to Lukaku in game week 7 when Chelsea's fixtures do become very, very good. And finally, Miguel Antonio, a -1, again, not the best outcome here. He did get a red card after picking up 2 yellows. Very little involvement otherwise in the game, 0 big chances, only a 0.21 expected goal involvement. So I think the big question for the game week is, what do we do with Miguel Antonio? He has been absolutely destroying it so far this season, but he is going to miss this tough matchup against Manchester United. So the question is, do you hold him? Do you sell him? I'll give my thoughts on that in a little bit. So in terms of how I'm positioned in terms of the ranking, so 66 points for the game week, up 70 with the -4 hit. That was a game week rank of around 1.7 mil. And I've moved up in the overall ranks actually to 398, 998. So it was a small green arrow of around 50k, which is not too bad, because to be honest, in this game week, knowing that I had likes of Rafinha against Liverpool, I didn't play a wild card, I did take a -4 hit. I was actually expecting either to probably actually get a red arrow. So the fact that I've got even a small green arrow, I will definitely take that for this game week. So let me know in the comments below as well how you all scored for game week 4. So looking at how the team is setting up for game week 5, we've got Sanchez in goal against Leicester. Leicester have not been the best in attack, to be honest. They actually have the second worst team XG so far this season. So as we mentioned previously, Sanchez is probably either going to get a 6-pointer or he's going to get a 2-pointer, because I don't realistically see Brighton conceding more than 1 or 2 goals. But again, decent matchups coming up after that in Crystal Palace, Arsenal and Norwich. So Sanchez is still going to remain in the team probably until we wildcard, and then we'll make a decision on that in the future. So taking a look at the defense, Trent Alexander-Arnold, there's no way he's leaving the team with a nice matchup against Crystal Palace. As we mentioned before, he is the top chance creator amongst all players in the Premier League so far this season. Crystal Palace have actually proven to be a decent attack. They're around middle of the table in terms of expected goals as a team, but Liverpool are the 3rd best in the league in terms of their expected goals conceded. So I do expect hopefully a clean sheet in this game week for Trent Alexander-Arnold, and hopefully some attacking returns along the way as we see him playing a little bit more infield, so high up the pitch, very, very attacking. Luke Ayling against Newcastle I don't think is the best matchup, because both Leeds and Newcastle have been very, very leaky in defence. I think they're ranked 20th and then also 18th in terms of expected goals conceded. So this could be a high scoring affair. To be honest, I'm not really expecting a clean sheet from Luke Ayling, but he has got a better matchup than Vladimir Coufal, who obviously plays Manchester United. So Coufal will be on the bench for this game week. So Luke Ayling is going to be coming in. He might get some attacking returns, although with Leeds centre-back problems, I do expect him to potentially move into a centre-back role. So that definitely will cap his attacking potential for this game week. Finally, Luke Shaw against West Ham. West Ham have been a very, very good attack so far this season, and we have seen that Manchester United have not been the most solid at the back. So whether or not Luke Shaw gets a clean sheet this game week, I'm not entirely sure, pun intended, but West Ham is still a decent matchup, and obviously we know that he's got that attacking potential. We saw him record 11 crosses this game week. He created 2 big chances, so we know he has got that attacking potential, and West Ham are not the strongest defence. They're an okay defence, so this could be a tight affair, could be a 0-0, or it could actually be quite a high scoring affair. It's quite hard to predict, but either way, Shaw is going to be in the lineup for the defense for this game week. So taking a look at midfield, no changes here from game week 4. So Mo Salah, again, Crystal Palace, they haven't actually been too bad of a defense, but they have conceded 5 goals away from home so far this season, so that definitely does spell good news for Salah playing at home, and he definitely is probably, in my opinion, the standout captain option for this game week as well. Salah ranks 4th amongst all players for expected goals, so definitely look for some attacking returns in this game week. Sa, as I mentioned, has Norwich this game week, so that's a fantastic matchup. Norwich have been like the third worst in terms of expected goals conceded so far this season. Watford have actually been the worst attack statistically so far this season, so we'll see how Sa goes. It could be a tight affair, 0-0, but I'm expecting Norwich to go for it because they haven't got a single point on the board yet so far this season. And given that Norwich are playing at home, I think in front of their fans, they're probably going to look to be attacking. That might actually help Watford, who do tend to sit back, and that might help Sa on the counter-attack. So I'm really hoping for some returns here from Sa. He's got a good matchup next week against Newcastle as well. So even though Watford overall as a team have not looked very attacking, I'm just banking on the fixtures with that Sa selection. Rafinha, very happy to have him this game week coming up against Newcastle. Worst defense statistically so far this season. Playing away, I think probably does benefit Leeds as well because Newcastle probably going to be a little bit more open in front of their home crowd. That definitely does help Leeds. And I think Rafinha, he did create a chance against Liverpool. He always looks very lively. Always a bit of a joke that his best statistic is expected lively because he always looks, very tricky, a very fun player to watch, but doesn't always tend to translate that well into FPL points. But at 6.5 million, I think he's probably the best option in that price bracket. And with those amazing run of games coming up for Leeds, I think Rafinha is going to be a great selection in the team for the next few weeks. So Benrahma coming up against Manchester United is a bit of a tougher matchup, and people have thought about potentially moving him on. They've got Leeds coming up in game week 6, and Leeds, as we know, have been a very, very leaky defence. So I'm more than happy to keep Benrahma for the next couple of weeks. I also want to see how the European football is going to affect West Ham. And so for now, he is going to play against Manchester United, but I'm not expecting too much here in this game week. And finally, Smith Rowe against Burnley. Again, a bit of an iffy one. Whether he starts or not, we're not quite sure. But Burnley, as we saw, conceded 3 goals to Everton, all like within a flash. So hopefully Smith Rowe, even if he comes on for say 45 minutes, he might look lively, good old expected lively, might create some chances hopefully, and we finally get some attacking returns. But I will raise my hand and say he probably wasn't the right 5.5 midfielder to go for. Obviously, I wouldn't have been expecting Conor Gallagher or Demarai Gray to do so well, but going with Smith Rowe at the beginning of the season probably maybe was a bit of a mistake in hindsight, but good matchup against Burnley, and then we can reassess next game week. And finally, up top, we've got Cristiano Ronaldo against West Ham. Still a good matchup, I think, in my opinion, for Ronaldo, as he's going to take a lot of shots. West Ham do have a tendency to concede like 1 or 2 goals, even though they overall are a decent defense. And Antonio against Manchester United, obviously, he's not going to play, so he will be sitting on the bench. And in terms of my transfer thoughts, I'm not looking to trade out Antonio. He will be a hold for me, purely because we've built up a little bit of value in him. Obviously, I understand he has dropped already 0.1 in price, and that might happen again this game week. But a matchup against Leeds and then Brentford and then Everton, I think those are still some decent fixtures for Antonio. So I'm more than happy to not play him this game week. And with my transfer, I will be able to cover him. And so for me, there's no personal need to trade him out. If, say, for example, you really don't have good bench cover to cover Antonio, then in my opinion, I think he's probably okay to transfer out to like a Patrick Bamford or a Raul Jimenez. And those are the 2 people I am considering most to bring in for this game week. As you can see there, I've got 1 free transfer, 3.8 million in the bank. So what I can actually do is upgrade my 4.5 million bench fodder in Perica up to a Bamford or a Jimenez. So this is the transfer situation I'm currently looking at doing, is Perica up to Jimenez or Bamford. So again, using Fantasy Football Hub's comparison tool, because the fixtures are pretty similar, I was just looking to see which one on the stats front would fare better. In my opinion, I actually think Bamford in the blue turns out better. He's got higher expected points, expected goals, higher big chances, and also shots on target. Jimenez is definitely fulfilling that creative role a little bit more than Bamford. You can see there, he's got higher big chances created, expected assists, as well as chances created. He's also shooting a lot more. You can see there, he's got higher for shots, higher for touches in the box, and also final third passes. But for me, with Bamford having higher XG and the higher shots on target, I think he's probably going to be a little bit closer to the goal front than Jimenez, at least so far on the stats front. I also just slightly prefer Bamford's upcoming fixture in terms of Newcastle compared to Brentford. Brentford are not the worst defensively so far. We've seen that this season. Southampton, Jimenez is playing away. Southampton have actually only considered the 1 goal, I think, at home so far this season. Obviously, Newcastle for Jimenez at home is going to be a great fixture in game week 7, but Bamford's also got Watford at that point in time. So for me, I'm actually leaning towards Patrick Bamford as the replacement for Perica in game week 5. So we've now got Patrick Bamford in the starting lineup for game week 5. You can see my bench there. I've got Soufal as the first sub. Don't want to play him against Manchester United. Tsimikas, potentially there's some reports he might play in game week 5 if Andrew Robertson, he's been playing a lot of minutes in the international break and then also the Champions League. If that is the case, to be honest, I'll just slot in Tsimikas instead of Luke Ayling, and I'll keep everyone else the same in my team. And also we've got Antonio there looking to come back against Leeds in game week 6. Now in terms of captaincy and vice captaincy, I just can't go past Mo Salah this game week. All things considered equal, everyone comes through injuries, all good in the midweek and European football. For me, Mo Salah is going to be the captain this game week. What I will do later in the week is also go through a game week preview, looking at other captaincy options, also looking at a bit of a player watch list, and also some team selection tips, going through like clean sheet odds and also goal scorer odds. So definitely stay subscribed if you want to see that later in the week. But this is how the team is going to line up for us in game week 5. So that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed that team selection video. Let me know in the comments below any questions you have. They may feature also in the game week 5 preview, and also give it a thumbs up if you did enjoy the video. But I'll see you all in the next video.